Welcome to another episode of The Aligned Singer. I'm about to align the heck out of you. I'm just kidding. Or maybe I'm not kidding, actually. I'm your host, Sarah Hockey. I'm a professional classical soprano. I'm a voice teacher with an expertise in building vocal technique, and I'm your bel canto bestie, here to help you connect the dots from wherever you are right now to wherever you want to be in your voice, in your singing journey, in your career, all the juicy stuff. And on today's episode, I am sharing an idea around something that's referred to as opportunity cost. I actually had to look it up because I don't use that phrase in my own mind. But I'm going to teach you an idea that's going to help you make decisions in your singing life, singing pursuits. It can also help you in the rest of your life too. How amazing. And I'm just going to jump right into it. I learned this tool taking a mindset program in my acting studio. And I was like, holy cannoli, this is really, really powerful. I love this concept and use it to this day. In fact, sometimes I overuse it a little bit and I have to be like, chill, Sarah, chill. You're getting too excited about it. And it's this. Everything that we choose to say yes to, we're saying no to something else. And it also works in reverse. Everything you choose to say no to, you are saying yes to something else. And really, the way I use this is I know, it's in my singing career. It really is. And I also use it in my voice studio as a voice teacher when I need to discern who I can offer a spot to in my studio. I really do. I kind of feel bad for saying that out loud, but it's true. It's true. So in terms of your singing pursuits, I want you to call up right now a few things that you've said yes to. Exciting. Maybe they're opportunities. Maybe they are auditions. Maybe it's a piece of repertoire that a teacher, a mentor, a coach, a friend has put in front of you. And they've been like, I think you should choose this repertoire. And you've chosen it and you've said yes to it. And so think of 2 or 3 things. And then think of a few things that you've said no to. Maybe you've actually turned down an opportunity or a contract because you couldn't do it or it wasn't the right fit, etc. Maybe you've said no to an audition because of XYZ reason. Maybe you've said no to a piece of repertoire because you have discerned that it's truly not right for your voice, or you got some mentorship around it and you're a voice teacher or a coach that you work with closely. It was like, this is not your bread and butter. Or maybe you just recorded yourself and heard yourself singing it and you're like, I don't think this is going to move the needle for me. And I want you to think about now. I'm going to switch gears. I'm backing into it with you because this concept, everything that I say yes to, I'm actually saying no to something else. The reason why when I learned this in my acting studio so many years ago, like maybe 15 years ago, that I found it so powerful is this. I'm going to be honest with you right now. I hope I don't mess up the camera by putting my hand in front of it. I want to be honest with you. I was saying yes to some stuff that I shouldn't have been saying yes to. And we all do it. So I'll give you a couple examples and you can whisper back through your earbuds or through your screen to me what yours are, because I want to know what they are. Don't be embarrassed. It's okay. We all do it. So I was saying yes to stuff like, this is a classic. Once in a while it still happens. Staying up way too late. And then my voice was kind of erect the next day. So I was saying yes to staying up late. Maybe it was even just by myself. Maybe it was with a friend. I don't know. Maybe it was partying. All of the above happened, especially in my 20s. And then I was wrecked the next day vocally, especially at the time when I was trying to work out all the problems in my voice, that's something that I was saying yes to. So what was I saying no to when I said yes to a lack of sleep? I was saying no to feeling fully focused the next day. I feel so harsh, but I'm so glad this story is actually about me. I was saying no to being able to be at my best vocally and mentally in as far as the music I was doing the next day, right? I mean, like, I was saying no to waking up early, and I'm a morning person. So I was definitely saying no to that. Golly, it makes you think that I was saying no to my most ideal life. And guess what? You'd be right. You would be right. That is what was happening. Just a little casual, low level, here and there. Just a pinch, a salt bay, if you would, of self-sabotage. That's exactly what it was, okay? And anytime I stay up late now, which is like twice a year, I'm like, oh, I just sabotaged not just one day now, like 2 days, okay? For you, it might be the same thing. It might be the same thing. What if here's one that gets me now that I'm active, doing the aligned singer, editing it, which happens on a screen. I love sharing stuff on TikTok and Instagram at the moment. That also happens on a screen and on a teeny tiny screen, meaning my phone. And I'm like, I have such a relationship with this tiny little machine. How odd, right? What if it's that we say yes to too much scrolling on Instagram? Before I joined Instagram, I didn't have this problem. There was no scrolling happening. But now that I have my voice teacher Sarah Instagram, and at the time of this recording, it's pretty new and pretty freaking fun. Really like when you guys get my jokes and you understand and you ask good questions, it's really fun to be on there, and TikTok as well. I'm like, it's a beautiful day. I could go on a walk, and I've been holding this tiny little machine in my hand for an hour. Like, this needs to stop. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. So maybe it's just saying yes to way too much of that. And what are you also saying yes to? I've heard this a lot from singers. You're saying yes to a comparison trap, or somebody else's opportunities or careers or looks or finances or house or apartment or whatever looks this kind of a way. And you're like, well, mine doesn't look that way. Listen, been there, done that. Every once in a while, I still do that. And then I'm like, wait a second. What am I saying yes to? I'm saying yes to making myself feel bad. How about I switch this script and say, no, I don't want to feel bad about myself. I'm going to, and then whatever you have to do to get yourself off your phone. For me, I'm going to give you a real example. I have a special app on my phone that blocks all the other apps if I want it to. And then I can still take pictures on my hike or make videos for you or whatever it is, film myself practicing, but not do anything else on there. It's amazing. So hacks like that are totally available to you. Just search it up. Search it up online and you'll find them. Easy peasy. I'll give you an example I love, and I think I will probably never do myself, but a lot of my students and several of my friends actually do this. And it's say yes to a Broadway contract. I think about this a lot because when you say yes to, usually all the people that do it, it's their lifelong dream. When you say yes to your Broadway contract, I'm going to tell you what you say no to. And I want to be honest with you. The people who are doing this, y'all are so freaking cool. Y'all are so amazing, giving your heart and soul every single day, sometimes twice a day on stage. Oh my God, it's so many performances. Holy cannoli. See, I come from the opera world where we need to rest because there's no amplification, and the kind of singing we do is very demanding on the body. We rest 2-3 days between performances normally. So, y'all, when you take your Broadway contract, you're saying yes to your dream. And I'm not saying say no to it. I'm saying say yes to it, but we also have to be realistic about what we say no to. We're saying no to having evenings off. That's one of them. We're saying no to having evenings off. We're saying no to a lot of days off in a row. You'll have one day off, and it's usually Mondays. So saying yes to even something that is such a massive dream, we still have something on the other side of it that we're saying no to, even if it's temporarily. So that's it. Do you see how it's not like it's always negative? It's not always doom scrolling. It's not always, doing something that's hurting your health, like staying up at late at night is my example, or worse, staying up late at night and drinking wine and then thinking I'm going to sing the next day. Are you good? No, I'm not. Okay, what? No. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, I'm dehydrated and exhausted? Oh, no. Right? It doesn't always have to be a bad example though. Sometimes it can be a wonderful example. For our next example, I'm going to give you another one from my own life that I think is super relatable. All right? It's eating out. Like when I lived in New York City, now I live up in the country about an hour north of the city. So you don't grab lunch out where I live. But when I lived in the city, I ate out a lot. There was awesome taco trucks. I grabbed stuff at the bodega, etc. And I was saying yes to, what is the quality I was saying yes to? Deliciousness, for sure, and convenience. Deliciousness and convenience, and easy on the go, yummy food, right? I'm not saying I regret that, but there were various times in my living in New York City for about 15 years that for whatever reason, there were things that I was saying, I want you to pay attention to this. If you're distracted, please come back to me, because this is actually a great and universal example. I'm not saying yes to something that's bad inherently. I love trying different food. And in New York City, it feels like you can eat all these different kinds of food from all these different places in the world. It's amazing. So it was awesome. It was great. And it was convenient, etc. But there were various blips of time and stretches of time in my life in New York City that I either wanted to stretch myself financially, so I wanted to have more of a cushion of savings, or I needed to save for a recording or some kind of an expensive project I was doing. And man, the $12 and the $15 and the $20 lunches sure add up fast, especially when you live on a modest income, which I certainly was at the time. Even singing at a high level, I still had a very modest income. So I was saying no to saving money, for example. Or at one time I went on this long sprint. I felt like it was a sprint, but it was 32 months long, of paying off debt. And I had to go, wait a second. If I say yes to this thing I love, which is grabbing food on the go conveniently, I'm actually saying no to my well-being in the pocketbook area. So I had to change what I was saying yes to. And it's not an easy change for me to make. I was like, I'm going to say yes to my pocketbook area goals, and I'm going to say no to eating out. But that means what I had to do was reorganize my priority and go, oh, I see. Now I have to learn how to prepare lunch for myself and figure out how I'm going to pack it in a cutie little lunchbox with a little ice pack in it. So, because I'm at rehearsal all day and then going to teach a lesson and then XYZ, which I did. No big deal. There's another one that this could be saying no to, and that is, oh my gosh, in Missouri where I'm from, this one hits a lot of people. It hits a lot of people. Health, right? Let's say you have a health goal in mind. You've got a photo shoot coming up. You're doing a demo reel and it's video based, right? And you're like, I want to just make sure I feel tight and right and I'm feeling really healthy. Or maybe it's just that you're on a health journey and you're noticing things affecting your voice, like I've heard from singers who've had trouble with reflux and stuff like that. So in that case, we're saying yes to the deliciousness and the convenience and the experience of diversity in our food by eating lunch out. But what we're saying no to is our goals in health. And depending on that, how important the health goal is to you, you may need to readjust. I've gone through that, my friend. Oh my goodness. And you really can learn about nutrition. It's actually pretty fun, to be honest. But then the packing the lunch is not necessarily a budgetarily or pocketbook type of a goal. It could be a health goal, actually. So those are two examples where something that's pretty freaking awesome, like going out to lunch, you may want to say no to for a time period say no to for a time period because the thing you want to say yes to, you had been saying no to. I'll give you another example that has to do with the magical device that we hold in our hands that can connect us to people. And that is, let's take doom scrolling. Or just sometimes I find myself just like opening apps and I'm like, why am I opening this up? Okay, I need to put that thing on that I told you about. So if you are finding yourself spending a lot of time on your screen, but I hear this a lot and I feel so much compassion for you. I get it, but you're finding it hard to find time to carve out to actually nurture your gift and practice or work on your technique. And you're like, I don't have time. That's what you're saying no to. If you're spending tons of time doing something that might not be super high value, like after 5 minutes, this is probably not that high value, right? Yes, it's a dopamine hit, but that's not long lasting in service to your gift, your voice. So you might go, okay, I'm going to use the time limit XYZ in my phone to go, whoa, I got to wake up out of this hypnotic trance this app has put me in and go ahead and go practice. Especially if you're having a hard time finding time to practice, because if you start to say yes to practicing, if you start to say yes to cultivating your vocal technique and having a daily vocal practice that serves your future and for the rest of your freaking life, you're also going to be saying yes to a lot more things that are in alignment with your purpose and your dreams, right? But it takes that little pivot of like, whoops, I'm saying yes to this and I want to say yes to that. So I'm going to have to start to say no to that. And this is also how we make space for more purpose to come into your life, for more opportunities to come into your life. I'm going to give you one more example. Now this one, if you're in your teens, if you're in your early 20s or even early 30s, it might not resonate with you that much. For me, this shift happened right in my mid 30s, right around age 35. So for a few years, I was singing gigs because that's how I was making my living at that time. I know, it's so awesome. It was such a privilege. I was making my full-on living singing. And that was my dream. And my dream had come true. But I started to notice that I wanted to have more time and space to do projects that were truly what I wanted to do. And at that same time, I was doing my best as fast as I could to pay the rest of my student loan debt and some super old credit card debt off. I'll talk a lot more about that, but not in this episode. Anyways, I was able to accomplish that incredible goal on a very modest income. But one of the reasons why I was doing it is because I knew about this principle. Everything that I say yes to, I'm saying no to something else. And I noticed that I had started to say yes to certain gigs just because this is how I made my living, not because I was super passionate about the project or the repertoire. It might be repertoire that I felt that I loved and loved to listen to, but wasn't truly gonna move me forward in my solo singing career, which I had launched by that time. It was paying the bills for sure, and that's a totally worthy yes. Sometimes we're at the stage, but I wanted to shift that stage. I wanted to go from the yes that was like, yay, this is how I support myself, whoop, whoop, my dream came true, to I'm going to start to be able to empower myself to be able to say no to some things so that I can say yes to my true calling projects. And that was a much longer process. It took me a couple of years to start to make those changes, but I wanted to share that as a more mature example. I would say in my 20s, staying up late, partying, like my partying is pretty like not that impressive, but it certainly involved drinking and staying out late in New York City. Like you should in your 20s. Like, I don't know, but it wasn't saying yes to my voice the next day. I'm going to tell you that much for sure, And I had some embarrassing experiences around that too. But then as I became more mature, I started to want to refine and elevate the artistry that I was pursuing. I wanted to start to be able to give voice, right? As singers, we give voice to projects. I consider myself to be an interpretive artist, and you might try that on for size as well. I'm an interpretive artist of other people's compositions and works and shows, right? Characters. So as we do that, I wanted to start to give voice to the stories, the characters, the music, the projects that I felt truly in alignment with all aspects of. And for a few years, my last few years living in New York City, I was like saying yes to stuff that wasn't that. Because I had another goal of the financial piece. So that's a little bit more refined and mature example for you, but I think it's helpful. I actually think it's helpful. And now, guess what? Guess what? If you're not at this stage, you're going to think this is nuts. But I say no a lot to singing opportunities, to paying singing opportunities. I say no a lot because I go, okay, I'm going to give you my real example, all right? And I do need you to know that if you're not at this stage, you will be someday. You totally will be someday. Do you like how I put a rolled R in a word that doesn't have an R? I bet you totally liked that. So right now, I say no to a lot of singing opportunities because I go, okay, let's say it takes all day on a Saturday. Let's just pretend. It's an all day recording or shoot or concert, whatever. And I know that I want to work on my recording projects or my repertoire or whatever else priority I have at that time for my artistry. I actually say no a lot because now I have the discernment and the clarity and all the things I'm teaching you on the aligned singer right here, right now, are going to help you develop this discernment as well. Isn't that amazing? I think it's amazing. Yeah. So do you like how I pretend to sing pop music and I'm a classical singer? I know. I think it's funny too. So anywho, I got distracted. Not really. I just having fun with you. I love spending time with you. Yeah. So you are going to be able to develop your tools that help you have that clarity and discernment of what you actually want to start to say yes to in the future. Maybe there's a bridge that takes time, sure, to get there, but I hope that's helpful for you because nowadays I'm very clear on the work that I want to leave as a legacy in the world. Like when I'm like gone in fairy dust, I know what I want to leave behind. We'll talk about how to figure that out in another episode. It's pretty freaking cool exercise, but you will learn that too. And then if you use this framework, everything I say yes to, I'm saying no to something else, and vice versa. Everything I say no to, I'm saying yes to something else. I think it's going to be very, very helpful for you to start to cultivate, even if you're just a little baby at this and like you're like, oh, I'm just starting out. You can just ask yourself, and I'm not saying you should judge yourself for it. If you stayed up late, you just being aware of it will help you when you realize it's time for you to move past it and start to say yes to things that are more in alignment for you. Well, my friend, it is such a joy to spend time with you here in this way on the Aligned Singer. I really, really care about your success. I care about your voice, and I want to remind you. I hope you say yes to your singing. I want to remind you to keep singing because you're the only one who has your unique and special gift, your voice, your ability to sing the way you do, whether right now you have your ideal instrument or you're building towards that. This is your special gift and you're the only person who has it. So keep singing. You can't steal that gift from us. We need it. We need your gift. Don't steal it from the world, okay? Promise? I hope you promise me through your earbuds or through your screen right now. Oh my gosh. I will leave it there with you and I'll see you next time on The Aligned Singer. Bye. Boop, boop, boop. You know what it's like when you start to be like, oh, my yeses are not in alignment? It's like weeding the garden. I love growing flowers. And it's like, uh-oh, there's a weed there. I didn't mean to say yes to that plant. Crabgrass, saltgrass, ugh, every time. Didn't want, yeah, I have enough of you. Trust me, I have an acre, over an acre of mostly crabgrass and saltgrass. No. But then you're like, oh, I just need to pull that weed. Pull that weed. Nope, no more of that. And then you say yes to beauty. And out in my garden, you say yes to flowers. Okay, have a good day. Bye. I always think of the good stuff right when I'm done. Oh my gosh, you guys. I believe in you so much. I hope you feel that I actually really mean that. Sometimes I feel like you're like young, good-looking grandma. But I'm too young to be a grandma. I also don't have kids. Like, oh, I believe in you. Like, you know what I mean? I just want to give you a hug right now. Okay, bye for real. Bye for real.